If you've ever felt uncertain about picking the right prop firm, then you're going to love this video because in this video, I'm going to talk about the 5 pieces of criteria that I'm now using in order to evaluate prop firms, especially since in my most recent video, when it came to me requesting a payout after all the struggle and hard work and everything that I put inside of these 2 funded accounts and being able to actually make more than $15,000 on these accounts, not being able to get paid out, basically getting denied a payout. So in this video, I'm just going to cover what prop firms are, what pieces of criteria I'm going to use, and then also some of the things that you should look for when you're evaluating prop firms for yourself. I've seen so many talented traders not getting paid out, and unfortunately, the funding company denied the payout, claiming a consistency rule that was not in the terms of service, and didn't give me any guidance on this until I asked for it because it wasn't in the terms of service. Pieces of information that's going to be really helpful for you when you're going on this journey and you're trying to research prop firms, and you're also maybe using your own personal capital while you evaluate prop firms and go through all of the challenges if you find one or a couple that you actually like. All right, so going right into the criteria, the first thing I'm going to talk about is the profit split. Now, if you've been researching prop firms, you know that there are a number of profit splits, and basically the cool thing about prop firms is it gives you this capital to be able to trade that's not yours. You don't have to really worry about it or anything like that. And for that benefit, or at least a portion of that benefit, when you do make money on the account, you have to do some sort of split. So sometimes I've seen 50%, I've seen 70, 80, 90, and I've seen as crazy as 95%. There was one company claiming 100%. Now for me, that's kind of a red flag because it seems really suspicious, but it could be a totally legit prop firm. But just keeping the profit split in mind is going to be something that I'm going to be looking at. So mostly I'm going to be looking at no lower than 80. 90 is going to be the target that I'm going to aim for no matter which prop firm that I'm actually going to go with, or maybe a couple of prop firms, because I plan to have a couple definitely to trade those accounts at the same time. Also, when it comes to profit splits, some companies, they have this scaling program where basically if you're consistent for, let's say, 3 months, that's mostly what I've seen with a lot of prop firms, then they're going to increase your account and basically either give you more money or have a better profit split, or maybe a combination of that and some other things. So that's also going to be something. Does this company have a scaling plan along with their profit split? That's going to be really helpful for me because I definitely want to scale up and get as much trading capital as I possibly can. So the next thing I'm going to look at is how they evaluate the accounts. Is it a 1-step challenge, a 2-step challenge? Do they have a rapid challenge? Like, those are going to be some really interesting things for me. And for me these days, I really just want to get it and just be one and done when it comes to picking a prop firm. Now, sometimes I know with the criteria that we're going to talk about here a little bit later, I'm going to have to make some trade-offs and just basically make the decision that way. I really like it when prop firms have a rapid challenge. And in addition to this is making sure that there is no time limit on the challenge, mainly because when I think back to a couple of years ago when I was trying to rush the process and really getting into shorter term trading and wanting to get funded and just blow through challenge after challenge after challenge. And I was just basically just throwing money away. And it was mainly because I was trying to get all these trades done in the 30-day time period or something like that. And for me, I thought that that wasn't enough time. Now these days, for the most part, I think it's an adequate amount of time. But at the same time, if you're trading one particular market and there's not a setup for a month, then that kind of sucks. You have to basically do the challenge over again if you don't see another setup that's going to take you to that level of profitability. So that's something else that I'm looking for inside of these prop firms when I'm doing my research. So one of the things I'm going to be looking for with prop firms is making sure that they don't have a consistency rule whatsoever. Not a profit consistency, not a lot size consistency, or none of that BS, mainly because that just tells me that that company has no intention on paying out, or they have no intention on paying large amounts of money, because essentially the way that prop firms work is that people take challenges. If people fail challenges, then the money is just retained by the prop firm company, and then they take a portion of those funds and they pay out funded traders who have been successful. So that's how that all works. So basically it depends on how many people they could get to sign up for challenges. But basically it's kind of like a robbing Peter to pay Paul type of situation, where they only are able to pay out when people lose challenges. So it's kind of a jacked up thing, but at the same time, that's generally how any market works. A good trader knows when to trade, they know when not to trade, and then sometimes the trade is going to maybe go in their direction and then all of a sudden have some weird price action where they have to get out. So there's not going to be a consistent level of profitability. It's not going to be every time you take a trade, you make $500. That just doesn't make sense. And it's not going to be every time you take a trade, you only make 30% more than that $500 that you made before. That's one of the things that makes trading exciting, because sometimes you could gain more in the market, sometimes it may be a little bit less, but you have that opportunity, depending on the market conditions, to take a relatively small amount and turn it into a large amount. I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of us get into trading in the first place. Of course, you have to know what you're doing, but that is the possibility inside of the market. And for a prop firm company to have a consistency rule, such as lot size or profit consistency, just makes absolutely no sense. Another factor that I'll be considering is payment frequency. How fast can I get paid out? And a lot of prop firms, it's typically 14 days. Some of them have an add-on where basically you can pay a little bit more for your challenge in order to maybe get a 7-day payout or maybe some other term. I've even seen prop firms that have a 1-day payout. Now that sounds freaking awesome. So of course I'll be reading the fine print and just making sure that there's nothing weird going on there. But basically you have to pick whatever's going to work for you, because that's exactly what I'll be doing inside of my research. And I'm sharing all of the research that I'm collecting inside of the Profitable Traders Academy, where they'll be able to download a copy of all my research and take a look at whatever I've done. And it's just a perk of being a part of the membership. And if you want to join, you can check it out at profitabletradersacademy.com. So that way you can join us and be able to ask me questions in almost real time about your own personal trading. And another thing I'll be checking out is the reviews and reputation of that particular prop firm. It seems like prop firms are popping up every single day. And 3 years ago, when I started short-term trading, there were only a handful of prop firms, and then they just grew like wildfire from there. So when it comes to reviews, I'm definitely going to be checking them out using a couple of different sites. Of course, Reddit and Trustpilot, and just basically just Google searches and just seeing what I could figure out for that particular company, and just being careful not to read too much into all the positive reviews and then not read too much into all the 1-star reviews. Now, if there's a company where they have way more 1-star reviews than maybe 5-star reviews, of course, that'll be something that I will take into consideration, just because I know that there's no perfect company out there. But I do want to see, key things I want to see is basically, are people getting paid out? Are these companies coming up with BS rules in order to not pay them out? Are they able to use a platform and it's not glitchy and they're able to execute trades when they want to? Because I was on a platform before where basically you would click the buy button, let's just say, and you would have to click it 10 times in order for the trade to actually go through. And then when you wanted to exit, and you would have to do the same thing in order to actually get out the trade. And it was very frustrating and just not a good trading experience. So I want to make sure that people aren't saying things about that. So just some of the things that I'll be looking for inside of my analysis. Until then, I will continue to trade my own capital and continue to grow and build that up. And if you found this video helpful, then go ahead and let me know in the comment section below, along with any other topics that you want me to cover on this channel, because my goal is to create content that's going to help you become a better trader. So if you love this, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.